Hi, I'm eReadMe. I like making Pokemon hacks and then trying to beat them. Today I'm going to tell the story of my first Nuzlocke that I've ever been able to complete. It was a hardcore Nuzlocke of Generation 1 with a couple edits, the most major of which is that I've inverted the type chart. If you've played the inverse battles in Generation 6, you'll be familiar with this. Fire-type attacks are now super effective against Water-type Pokemon and weak against Grass types. Furthermore, resistances have been flipped, so normal types now resist fighting type moves, for example, and dragons are weak against basically everything. There are also no immunities at all. Using this special ROM, I've decided to do a hardcore Nuzlocke, so no items in battle, no overleveling the next gym leader, and using the set option in battle. It was a lot of fun, and this is the story of how I beat it. The game starts, as always, with my starter choice. My normal choice is Bulbasaur, but for this game I decided to go with Charmander. Its fire-type attacks would be strong against both Brock and Misty. I beat my rival and the main game starts. I decide to skip rival battle because I don't like my chances. I make some fairly standard captures for this stage of the game, including a Rattata, a Pidgey, a Weedle, and a Metapod, and start working my way through Viridian Forest. It's kind of an odd experience in here, as both my Charmander and Pidgey are weak to the bug types in here. In any case, I make it to the gym. I'm below the level cap, but I'm feeling confident, as both Geodude and Onix are 4 times weak to my Ember attack. Unfortunately, the first gym training uses ground types, which are only 2 times weak, and so my Ember is too weak to take them out. I end up losing my Rattata and my Kakuna to the Light Years kid. Super lame. Especially as I was looking forward to using Beedrill. I go back and do some more training, and then before going to face Brock. And yeah, this battle is easy. I send in Charmander and it takes out both Geodude and Onix in 2 hits each. On to the next route. I purposely avoid the grass so I can buy some guy's Magikarp, and I finally have managed to evolve Metapod into Butterfree. Unfortunately, in this game Butterfree is stuck with only knowing Harden until level 12, so switch training continues. Inside Mount Moon I found a Paras, which I nicknamed Alteros. Now looking at my team in the context of inverted types, you might notice a pretty glaring flaw. Charmander, Pidgey, Paras, and Butterfree are all weak to grass types, with some 2 times weaknesses in there as well. And my only other Pokemon is a Magikarp, so... Anyway, I'm sure that won't be a problem. Next up, Last Miriam uses an Oddish and a Bellsprout, and they both know Absorb. Fuck. Not only is this super effective against my entire team, but it also restores their health back. They managed to knock out my Paras! Goddamn grass types are so scary in this game. Anyway, I get through the cave and capture an Ekans on the way out. I name it Najarala. In this game, poison-type Pokemon are weak to grass types as well, by the way. Anyway, at this moment I have a choice between fighting Blue or Misty, so I go for the lesser of 2 evils and head for the gym. Again, I leave with Charmeleon, who sweeps with a couple Embers. Misty, knowing that her water-type attacks will be resisted, sticks to using tackle attacks, but of course she no longer has a stab bonus damage in that case, and to make matters worse, I get a burn. Too easy. After a bit more training, I go up against Blue. I start with Butterfree to counter his Pidgeotto. Unfortunately, my Butterfree is a bit overpowered, so I swap into my Pidgey and spam sand attacks like a champion, and then knock it out with a few gusts. Blue sends in Abra, who can't do anything, so I bring Kinsect out to take care of it, and also deal with Blue's Rattata. Last up is Squirtle. I paralyze it and take it out with a few confusions for the win. You know, I'm really enjoying Butterfree now that it finally has some damaging moves. I cross the Nugget Bridge without an issue and catch me one of those scary ash Oddishes. I name it Gigi. Unfortunately, it doesn't really solve the grass type weakness problem because grass types are also weak against grass types. Anyway, I run into another lass who starts with a level 13 Oddish. She very nearly knocks out my Butterfree and Charmeleon, but I manage to defeat it with Pidgeotto. I swap into Gigi to counter their Pidgey, but then get overpowered and nearly die. I switch into Ekans to sack it and get a clean switch back into Pidgeotto, who takes it out with a quick attack. She then sends in another Oddish, which kills Pidgeotto, and Gigi, and Butterfree. I finally kill it with Charmeleon, but holy shit, that one trainer brought me down to only 2 Pokemon, Charmeleon and Magikarp. This playthrough is not looking very hopeful right about now. After getting the SS ticket from Bill, I head to the daycare and level up my Magikarp until it evolves into Gyarados. And goddamn Gyarados saved this run. I teach it to Bubble Beam TM that I got from Misty, and finally I have an answer to grass types. My next captures are a Bellsprout, which I name Pookie Pookie, and a Spearow, which I name Acnosum. I teach Cut to Rathalos and head for Vermilion Gym. Gyarados and the newly evolved Fearow absolutely destroy the electric types in the gym, and it's on to Surge. He starts off with Voltorb, so I'd send in Fearow and take it out with a few Fury attacks while it's still setting up. He then sends in Pikachu, so I take it out with some Fury attacks. Last up is Raichu, who uses Thunderbolt and almost takes me out. I decide to switch into Gyarados, who obviously is pretty intimidating, because Raichu just decides to spam Growl over and over while I defeat it with Bubble Beams. Electric Badge is mine. The next two encounters are a Voltorb and a Geodude, who quickly evolves into Graveler. With these two new team members alongside Gyarados, I'm no longer afraid of grass types, which is good because Erica is up next. She starts the battle off with a Victory Bell, and I send out Conchu the Voltorb. A couple Thunderbolts to take it out, and it only manages to just poison me. Next, she sends in Tangela, but it only goes for low damage Constricts while I wipe it out with a Thunderbolt. Last, she sends in Vileplume, which does some big damage with Petal Dance. However, I'm stronger and faster, and I wipe it out with a couple Thunderbolts, giving me the badge. Voltorb decides to celebrate by evolving into Electrode, and I win a Mega Drain, which I give to Pookie. Before I leave town, I have some chores to catch up on. First, the game corner. I have the choice of buying either an Abra, a Dratini, or a piece of trash, so I go for the Abra. Dragon types are weak to basically everything, so it's not worth it. I also buy a Leaf Stone and evolve my Weepinbell to a Victory Bell. I could have waited until I had Razor Leaf for some critical hit shenanigans, but I wanted the power boost, and I didn't really know if Weepinbell could survive that long. I decide I'm not going to bother doing the Rocket Hideout. It's long and boring, and the Rocket's Pokemon aren't suited to my team. So instead I buy some Repels and a Pokédoll and make my way to the top of the Pokemon Tower without any fancy Silph Scopes. I give Marowak's mother a plush doll, which seems to be the only thing it wanted before it moves on, and went up to the top floor to meet Mr. Fuji. Now that we have the Pokeflute, the map is much more open. I head to the cycling road and catch a Snorlax, name it a Zoros, and then catch a Doduo on the cycling road. The trainers here are mostly using fighting types with normal moves, which makes them a problem for my mostly poison and flying type team. I do have a Graveler, but it's weak to normal types. I skip most of the trainers, but unfortunately, during an unfortunate training exercise, I miscalculate a Hyper Beam, and my Gyarados gets knocked out by a Dodrio. Rip in peace, Legiacris. You literally saved this run. And oh hey, now I have an excuse to use Snorlax, so that's good. Because reality can be whatever I want, I have infinite steps inside the Savari Zone, which makes it a little bit less annoying than usual. I find a Nidoran, but it escapes, lame, along with the Surf HM and the Gold Teeth, which I can exchange for the Strength HM. I teach both Surf and Strength to Snorlax. With Legiacris gone, I need a new Water type after all. My next two gyms are Koga and Sabrina, and they both have the same level cap of 43. I'm pretty worried about Koga, so I decide to go for Sabrina first. Arriving at Saffron, I swap out Graveler from Meowth I caught earlier, which I evolve into Persian. I also decide that teaching it Substitute might be a good answer for self-destruct Pokemon, and I get to test out that theory in Silph Company. Works like a charm. Persian just in general rocks in Generation 1. It's fast enough to get consistent critical hits, but its only problem is it's a bit frail and needs to be healed frequently. I also get this glitch, which I'm sure it's fine. Anyway, I manage to fight my way through, and eventually I get surprised by a battle with Blue. Because I'm a dumbass, I haven't prepared, and he's got a few levels on me this time. I sent out Snorlax as my first Pokemon, and he sent in Pidgeot. Trying to set up to sweep with the Badge Boots glitch, I use Amnesia, while Pidgeot uses Sand Attack. I manage to take it out, along with Blue's Growlithe, but then they send out Execute, who puts me to sleep. I swap out for Electrode, our designated grass counter, who takes out the Execute, but in the progress I get hit with a Release Seed. Blue then sends in Alakazam, and I put up a light screen, which is good because Alakazam uses a Confusion, which very nearly takes me out. If I hadn't used light screen, Electrode would be dead right now. I switch into Victory Bell, who can resist psychic attacks, and start to spam Raps. Blue heals up with some potions and a recover, but I manage to take it out eventually. Blue's last Pokemon is a level 40 Blastoise, very scary. I swap in Charmeleon, but he's only level 35, so he's overpowered. I have to swap out for Fearow, who uses Mirror Move to spam back super effective bubbles onto it. If Blue had some better attacks on his Pokemon, or if I had some worse luck, I definitely would have lost some Pokemon in that battle. I pick up Lapras and name it Plizioff, and then on to Giovanni. He's under the impression that we've met before, which is weird because I swear I've never met this man in my life. I start off with Victory Bell to counter his Nidorino. I paralyze it with Sunspore and start to set up, while Nidorino just spams Focus Energy. Either the AI is freaking out because of the Focus Energy glitch, or he's trying to match my status mirrors, but either way, it lets me max out my stats before I attack. And Victory Bell just sweeps his entire team. Too easy. Before taking on the gym, I head over to the fighting dojo, which is pretty easy because Snorlax resists their hits and has so much HP. I pick up a Hitmonlee just in case, and apparently Snorlax can learn Harden by level up in this game? Weird. Anyway, on to Sabrina. I lead with Snorlax, with Persian in reserve if I need it. The battle starts and I go for the boosting strategy of Amnesia. Kadabra doesn't know how to react to this unless we get to +6. I take out Kadabra and Mr. Mime, but Venomoth gives me some trouble actually. It poisons and confuses me and almost knocks me out. It forces me to change into Victory Bell. I take out the Venomoth and then in comes Alakazam. Just like Kadabra, it lets me fully set up before attacking, which allows me to take him out with a couple wraps. Pretty easy aside from always losing Snorlax. I fly straight back to Fuchsia for my battle with Koga. I never realized how visible the invisible walls are in this generation. I go in with Persian, trying to make use of the substitute strategy, but I get worn down and overpowered by his early Pokemon before I can reach Weezing. I take out Koffing and Mark, but the second Koffing brings me down to red and poisons me, forcing me to switch. I bring in Victory Bell and boost my stats with Growth, while Koffing spams Smokescreen. At this stage I don't really care how low my accuracy is, as long as my defense is really good, because I need to survive that self-destruct. I knock out the Koffing with a super effective Mega Drain, and then, hey, survive the self-destruct, getting me the badge. The penultimate gym leader is Blaine, and yeah, that's no problem for me at all. I use Victory Bell and Sweep. The final gem of the game is Viridian. Ground is weak against Poison, Rock, and Electric, so I guess it's time for Electro to get to work. It's faster than most ground types and can knock out most of them with 1 or 2 hits. Still, I was worried for the gym leader. Giovanni's Pokemon have a lot of one-hit knockout moves, which, oh wait, no, they fail if they're slower than me. Oh look, I already won. Our last hurdle before the Elite Four is the rival battle, and yeah, it went well. I have an answer for all his Pokemon at this stage. Victory Bell takes out Pidgeot, Fearoid takes out Rhydon. I bring in Victory Bell back to defeat Growlithe, execute an Alakazam, and then bring in Charizard to counter his Blastoise. Easy peasy. I run through Victory Road, catching a Ditto and an Onix that I won't use. Victory Road has a few close calls, but on the whole it doesn't feel too different for a regular playthrough at this stage. I make it through and decide upon my final team. For Lorelei, I sent out Snorlax. I can use Amnesia to boost up against her dumb Dugong, and then sweep it with Surf, which is super effective against her whole team. For Bruno, I use Persian. She takes out Bruno's whole team with super effective critical hit slash attacks before Bruno can even do anything. Next up, Agatha. She was a bit of a challenge. To prevent her putting me to sleep, I decide to pre-poison Electrode. However, she switches into Golbat, who almost manages to take me out. I switch into Persian and she sweeps the rest of the team. Guess I was overthinking it. Finally, Lance. Every single one of his Pokemon are weak to fire types, so it's Charizard's time to shine. I bring it in and Lance sends in Gyarados. I outspeed and use Flamethrower, which barely doesn't kill, and Gyarados uses Hyper Beam and kills Charizard. Holy shit. Anyway, good thing I ditched Fearow for this Ninetales just in case. I spam Flamethrower and win. Champion time. Blue sends in Pidgeot and I send in Victory Bell. I set up a couple Growths and sweep through his entire team. And yeah, that's it, I guess I win. So, in reflection, that was fun. Though especially towards the end I relied more on Gen 1's broken mechanics than the inverted types. In total I lost 10 Pokemon. Rip in peace, guys. I definitely lost more Pokemon at the start of the game, where gaps in my team made me susceptible to random broken trainers, especially grass types. But like I said, the Gen 1 mechanics were the real crutch here. Looks like I have to put the mod into Gen 2 and see how I go there. It'll be interesting to see what team I end up with to battle Red. If you want to see that, please consider subscribing to me on YouTube and Twitch. I would really appreciate it. If you want to play this mod for yourself, it'll be available for a download alongside all my other mods on my Discord. The link is in the description. Have a good day, guys.